What's up, Terrifics? I'm here at CEDIA 2016 in Dallas, Texas, and you are the Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special at BeTerrific TV on all social media. We're with Ram from Securifi. They make a router that is called the Almond. I think they're on their third generation, the Almond 3. It's pretty amazing. Let me walk you through it real quick. The idea is that it's an easy to set up router that can create a mesh network, so you can extend it through a big home, and we'll talk to Ram a little bit about that. It's easy to set it up. You can do it yourself. You can also have an integrator do it, and it has a ton of features. But I'm going to take you one step further. You can also use it as a smart hub to integrate all of the smart solutions in your home. Things like your Nest, your Amazon Echo, and Tap, and any other Alexa device you have, your Philips Hue lights, your door locks. It's really unbelievable. Ram, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me.
How long, you guys are a startup, how long have you been developing Almond?
So the first Almond came out in 2012, so we're on to our third gen Almond with Almond 3, so about 4 years now.
Did it start with the idea of let's create a router that's easy to set up that anybody could use?
Absolutely. You know, at that point in 2012, I had already been working in Wi-Fi for 5-6 years, and most people, although router was a very old product category by then, were intimidated by their routers. And I, as a guy working in Wi-Fi, would still find my own home router pretty frustrating to use. And you know, one time I had to waste 30-40 minutes to help my landlord, and I realized there's got to be a better way.
And you said, okay, let's put a touch panel on it so you can control it without having to log in through a computer, but also give the ability to log in through a computer. And you have an app too, so it's pretty cool. It's very reasonably priced.
Exactly. I mean, you know, that was one of the big things we were going for. We wanted to have this easy to use router, but we didn't want it to be so expensive that most people can't afford it. So it's a sub $100 starting point for the basic router.
And how fast is it? Because that's the big question.
So that's a great question. We have a range of routers starting from 300 Mbps all the way to 1750 Mbps.
Wow.
So going from basic single band 2.4 gig all the way to 11 AC, gigabit Wi-Fi, gigabit LAN WAN. So we got the whole spectrum covered.
Very cool. So I set mine up in my house, and I decided I could do basically a bridge mode or mesh and work with my existing infrastructure, or I could unplug my existing infrastructure and plug it in. And I said, you know what, let me use my existing infrastructure. And it took, I would say, about 7 minutes while I was on the phone talking to a business associate to set this up and walk through the process, and then I started to use the Smart Hub. So it's very easy to set up. I set it up with my existing infrastructure. It extends my network, which is very nice, and you can, I didn't have an Almond before, so it works with what I had, or I can use it to create a network and then extend that one out by having 2 or 3 or 4 Almonds. And of course, again, it works as a Smart Hub. So let's talk about some of the Smart Hub features.
Okay, just before we get into that, I just want to clarify one thing. You know what, the way you're using it, it's a great use case, by the way. Many people use Almond that way. But the new thing we're announcing with Almond 3 is the mesh capability.
Yeah.
Some of the benefits compared to the way you're using as an extender is, with mesh you have, doesn't matter how big your home is, you have a single seamless network. So say you want to do parental control, say you want to block kids' Wi-Fi. When you do this extension type of thing, you have to individually manage each one, but when it's a single network, whether it's a guest network, you just push a button, it enables guest network across your entire home. So there are a bunch of really cool features by using the mesh.
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought it up because I really like that aspect of it, and it's a really important aspect of it. And you mentioned it in the panel discussion we were on about voice control for home automation and how it's the future and how it's being integrated today. So I think that that's really important, and an important feature, and especially being able to manage your kids' use of the internet is very important as well. Also, there are a lot of other things, including opening and closing or starting and stopping a guest network.
True, very true, very true. We are big believers in voice. You know, we had a great panel, and we think there's a lot you can do with Wi-Fi and voice at home.
So you designed it to be smart and sharp looking, which I think is important because that's a stumbling point, right? It has to look good to get it into the house.
Absolutely, and there's a second reason too. One is, of course, you want it to look good.
Antennas?
Antennas, you know, when you have an ugly router, usually you shove it in a closet, right? But if you put your router out in the open, actually it substantially improves the range, because when you put it in a closet, right away, you lose like 10-20 dB of signal.
Sure.
So, you know, that's the other big benefit.
Plus, by putting a touchscreen on it, you want to be able to access it. All right, so tell me about the Smart Hub features.
Okay, so we talked about the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It's a great Wi-Fi router, but we are also the first company to recognize that you shouldn't need a separate Smart Hub, like a SmartThings or a Wink. They naturally belong in the router, because one, you want always on connectivity for a Smart Hub, and second is always at home. You know, your router already does these two things, so you don't need a separate Smart Hub, and that's what we did. And we support Zigbee and Z-Wave, and we've integrated hundreds of products into our platform.
Those are two of the standards, by the way. Just a lot of people don't know this because it happens all behind the scenes.
True.
When you get Philips Hue, you don't know what the protocol they're using is. When
Very
you
true.
buy a Nest, you don't know their protocol.
True. And in terms of the popular products, we integrate with Nest, Philips Hue, Amazon Echo with the Alexa support, and just recently we did the IFTTT integration as well.
IFTTT is a very tricky thing, but it will help you do things with the Amazon Alexa, like turn on your television and stuff like that, because the television manufacturers don't want to open their APIs just yet, and hopefully that will change, but you got to create recipes and do all this other stuff. Check it out, ifttt.org. I find it a little clunky, not on your end, but it's good that there's integration for it, and to get it to work on my end, because I didn't realize that, I had to buy a Logitech Harmony to make my TV work. So, which I might still have to have had because I need the IR blaster from that. Anyway, so all right, walk me through some of the things it can do, and I'm using it with my Hue, with my Nest, and with my Alexa.
Oh, awesome! So unfortunately, we don't have the Alexa demo here. It's kind of noisy, and the
noisy,
Wi-Fi is not.
But
that
I can
great.
tell you it works great.
Yeah. So these are some of the devices. This is a smart button. This is a door sensor. I think
that can also be a window sensor as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the siren just went off when I opened it up. So that's an automation. So Almond 3, that's another kind of interesting thing, has a built-in siren. So you can have a DIY home security system.
So you put this on a window or a door, the seal breaks, and this is good for even stores, I guess, maybe, and also homes, and the siren goes off. Okay.
Yep. So, and then this is a smart button, this is a motion detector, this is smart plug.
So the smart plug, you could plug this into the outlet, and then plug any device into this, and it will turn that device on and off.
Yep. So, for example, we have a rule where if you press this button twice, it turns off that light. If you press it once, it turns it on, and then this is a flood sensor. If it detects flooding, the light goes red. So, basically it's a pretty powerful platform, and there's a really neat interface to create these rules. I don't know if you had a chance to play with that, but if not, I would encourage you to.
No, I did. It's really awesome, and I'm going to be doing a review on BeTerrific.com of the whole thing. Some of it I have down, some of it I don't. We'll stay in touch over email if I have questions. This is a motion detector. Pretty amazing. You can also set a timer on it, and the sensitivity on top here. How long does the battery last in here?
So it's a great question. This one can be tricky because it really depends on how much motion there is.
Right.
I mean, this one, it's almost guaranteed for most cases 2 to 3 years, no problem. But this one, if you put it in a trade show like this, it's probably die in a couple of weeks.
Right.
But in most homes, it's a year to two, 1 to 2 years.
And then you just replace the battery.
Replace the batteries.
Cool, and then you can operate the door locks and everything.
Yeah.
There's a whole list of stuff you can do.
Yep.
What is going to come in the future? I mean, it seems like it's never ending. You just keep adding stuff.
I think one thing that is going to be never ending, like you said, is the integrations. We integrate with so many guys today, but to get the most value out of it, you want to be integrated with the most popular products out there. That's why we started with the Nest, Hue, and Alexa first, because those are the most popular products. And the second big thing for us is services.
Right.
We're going to have an interesting home security service, like monitored security.
I think that's good.
And then we'll also have services on internet security. So today you can already block kids' Wi-Fi, but you can do more, like, so you can see the sites visited by your kids, or you could block specific sites.
You could also potentially block data from going to some of these, like the Amazon Alexa. Maybe you don't want data to go to them, or certain data, because you feel uncomfortable about that. That's a big question a lot of people asked after the panel. They kind of whispered it, and people ask, I think all the time, is what is the security of what's going on
Absolutely.
with my
I think
data?
A good example is, say you have a camera at home.
Yeah.
I mean, similar to what you pointed out. You don't want some Russian hackers to like go into that,
Sure.
Try and
Watch you coming out of the shower.
Exactly.
Or see your kid. Exactly. So I noticed it says on the app Xbox One. How does it hook up and connect with Xbox One?
Oh, in that case, so those are actually the network devices that are connected.
I got it.
So it's just, you're just naming them.
Right,
So
you're right.
this is, but in the same screen actually, if you scroll all the way up, you'll see all the smart devices at top.
Right, that's why I thought it somehow was connected to that and was a smart device. So my biggest question is, you know, a lot of the routers you talk about from your competitors talk about how many devices can be connected at once, and then how much each thing pulls bandwidth. So let's say I've got, I don't know, a bunch of lights. Let's say I've got 12 lights in my home connected. I've got the Alexa connected. I've got the Yell lock connected. And now I've got my phones and my tablets and my computers and my Apple TV and all this stuff. How many devices can this handle? And when we start to get into the Internet of Things, isn't that just am I gonna need 10 of these routers? Or what's the difference? And what's the deal? And is that where really now we're not only talking about extending the range, but the amount of devices each one the network can handle?
It's a great question. That's the Almond Plus, that's our second gen product.
Sure.
We have customers who have over 100 network devices connected to it,
Wow.
over 100, and then about 60, 70 smart home devices. So it's pretty powerful. I mean, it's pretty powerful, like what one device can do here.
Sure.
And in our lab, we've tested over 100 smart home devices as well, and I think over 150 network devices. So these are, I mean.
But if you add a second one, does it give you 200?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. And what about this is technically this is your third generation device?
Yeah.
And so how many can that handle?
So this one, again, it can handle over 100 smart home devices as well as network devices.
And you could have 2 or 3 of those connected. And how do you know when you order it, I want the one that does 300 megabits per second, or I want the one that does 1700 megabits per second with AC?
So we recommend everyone get an AC router now.
Yeah, I would
because it's 2.4 is just too crowded and it's just hard to do anything in 2.4.
Too slow too.
Yeah. So, but and the second factor we want you to consider for purchasing this is how many do I want in a home? So we recommend about, on an average, again, it depends on the type of home.
Sure.
It's hard to say with wireless range.
Well, I like that you tell square footage
Yeah.
on your packaging. So you offer on Amazon 3 packs, 4 packs, 5 packs, whatever, or you can buy one. You get good discounts when you buy multiples, even if you want to give one to a friend probably.
Right.
But the deal is that you tell us, okay, you have a 300 to 2,000 square foot home, and I don't know exactly, I'm just giving an example, then you should use this, you should use one. If you have a 2,000 to 5,000 or 3,000, you need this many. If you have a 5,000 and above, you need at least this many. And I think that that's very good, because the other router companies don't do that, which makes no sense. And they don't even tell you feet. And by the way, I like how you set it up that way, because even if you did feet, is that linear feet? Is that line of sight? How does that work? And it doesn't really account for all your devices, your microwaves, and all sorts of things that could interfere. And I guess when you do the square footage, you're also thinking about those?
Yeah, absolutely. We recommend about one Almond 3 for about 1,300 square foot.
Sure.
You're right. Like if you just give a linear feet, like is it radius? Is it like diagonal? Like you don't know, right? So it does simplify the decision making for customers when you give it in terms of square feet.
Excellent. Very, very cool. And so is that the Almond 3? Is that an AC?
Yeah, it's AC.
So it's already ready to go.
It's AC gigabit.
And how much is that? I don't even remember.
Right now it's still on pre-order. For a single unit goes for 119,
Yep.
and a pack of 3 go for 299.
Not bad.
But once they go into retail, the single unit will go for $149,
Okay.
and the pack of 3 will go for $399.
Very
you
nice.
still get a discount when you go for a pack of 3.
Very, very nice. You can pre-order it now. He's Ram, I'm Michael. So when obviously you guys are going to grow, you're going to be a huge company. I see the future. You guys are doing great things. Do I get an invite to the yacht? Or is it the G5 you'll give me a ride on?
I don't know about
I'm just
that.
teasing
Yeah,
you, Ram.
all
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thank
He
you.
doesn't want to hang out. He just be right on air. Wow. You are the terrific. He's great though.
No,
isn't he?
you're
This is
invited
Ram.
to
Thank
whatever
you.
it is.
This is Ram. I'm Michael. Hopefully we do a lot more with Ram and Securifi in the future. You're the Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special at BeTerrific TV on all social media. Stay tuned for more coverage of CEDIA 2016. Go to our site, go to our YouTube page, and just be terrific.